Hey everybody, welcome into another chapter of Old Man Brad. This is your first time in. Thank you for giving me a listen. If you're returning for another chapter, I'd love having you back. We're deep in October right now. I've had a bunch of great episodes. Fridays, I have special guests joining me for new episodes of Tales from Tubi. We've had two great episodes so far with Gerald from Two Peas on a Podcast as we talked Intruder, and Jason from Binge Movies as we tried to make sense of Neon Maniacs. Also last week I had an interview with Jose Prendes, Denise Duff, Michelle Bauer, and Gabriel Pranter about The Exorcists, which you can get on digital right now. We're not slowing down this week. This week I have another great interview for you with the crew from HeBGB TV, which you can stream on Screambox right now. I got to have an interview with the writers, directors, the everything in the movie. I mean, they're stars. They did visual effects. They did, jack of all trades, basically. Eric Griffin, Adam Lenhart, Jake Mcclellan. I had such a great time chatting with him. Before we jump into the interview, I want to give you a few of my spoiler-free thoughts on HeBGB TV.
This isn't your ordinary cable box, you see. A whole universe of endless fun right here in your living room.
This can't be good.
A new streaming service sweeping the nation, giving households everywhere the goosebumps, the willies, the clap, and even the heebie-jeebies.
Go stream it on Screambox. Go to Scream Team Releasing and get a Blu-ray, get the DVD. This is an anthology film that is high energy. It is a kind of a throwback to that. If you were a kid who grew up watching like late night TV in the 90s, USA's Up All Night, or any of those type of shows, infomercials, if you watched any of those, which I found myself a lot, 2:00 in the morning, I have an infomercial on when I was younger. Don't know why, never bought anything, but it always fascinated me. But this movie is kind of a mix of all that, where this mysterious box, the HeBGB TV box, arrives in this town and everybody's addicted to it. They're just watching what is on HeBGB TV. Lots of commercials, little faux commercials split in with some, short stories, and it kind of all weaves together with the Purple Man and these kids that are watching TV. I don't want to give anything away, any spoilers at all. There's some in this that I just feel like you just need to experience. If you knew about it going in, it won't be as surprising or maybe not as funny. So I'm keeping this spoiler free, and I'm going to say I really did truly enjoy HeBGB TV. It was just silly fun. Absolutely had a blast. Gave me that feel of the old late night TV. It was just a fun watch, and I look forward to seeing what they have in store for us in the future, whether it's more of this or whatever else they come up with, whatever other ideas that they have. I'm on board for it. Go watch HeBGB TV, streaming on Screambox right now. Let's move into my interview with Eric Griffin, Adam Lenhart, and Jake Mcclellan. And I will see you on the other side. Like I said at the top of the show, I have a very special interview for you. I want to welcome in Eric Griffin, Adam Lenhart, Jake Mcclellan, the creators of HeBGB TV. How you guys doing today?
Hello. We're doing so good.
Bonjour. We're working on that. We're doing great, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. A big thing I want to know is, where did the idea for HeBGB TV come from?
Yeah, so it actually kind of just evolved naturally on its own. We started with a Halloween show, I would say 2019, I think was when or was it 2018? 2019 called Halloween Horrorama. And we did a kind of hybrid theatrical show. And we also showcased a lot of our short films that we were working on. And then from there, we got hit with COVID like everyone else and figured, well, if we can't do another Halloween show this year, let's just kind of keep making things. And we just started filming commercials for fun. We figured, oh, whenever the next show comes, we'll throw up these commercials. And then we got more commercials. And then we're like, oh, we should maybe put a little wraparound on this. And then we started, getting inspired and coming up with new characters. And then we kind of just accidentally put it all together and it made a feature film.
It was a Halloween party gone awry, essentially.
Was it always your intent to kind of give it that late night television, cable TV feel?
100%. Yeah, I think like Jake was saying, the Halloween show that we did, we kind of wanted it to feel like I guess like a harsh slumber party kind of thing. Like we had commercials going, like vintage retro, like mug root beer and Elvira and stuff like that. Kind of like paying homage to the TV that kind of raised all of us and inspired all this madness that we're into these days. So yeah, that was definitely something that we really wanted to be intentional with. And I think just we wanted to do something really like frenetic, really fast moving, and just the idea of channel flipping. I think Jake came up with the name for HeBGB. I don't know where the idea of the box came from. Yeah, it was just kind of like a vessel to like push all this weird short channel flippy content. Just kind of like that concept kind of just worked for what we were going for.
We also decided we enjoyed late night horror hosts so much that we made Jake play 7 or 8 of them in the film. So thanks, Jake.
He has a few characters in the film. Well, how did that come about? Did you always intend to play all these characters, or just like, you know what, I'm gonna be this crazy character next, or this one, or this one, or this one?
It was a mixture of both. Before filming this and even doing the Halloween party collectively, I was just doing a lot of these characters on my own.
Okay.
Short films, live performances, and I just wanted to create more characters. So this was a great vessel to do it with great people. But also at the same time, again, we were in COVID. So this was like bubble era. So we were really just pulling our friends, and it was like, oh, we can't get a huge cast. So yeah. I guess I'm playing the newscaster now because we can't really grab another person into our bubble. One part, it was me just kind of exploring characters and just making them up on the fly, evolving them. And on the other hand, it was just, we really couldn't have a big cast because we were trying to keep it as literally as micro, as possible during the early COVID.
When you explain it to people, you'll say a horror anthology, and people will think, oh, it's just
hell.
Yeah, it's a lot of short films, but this takes it to the next level. This is like a high energy. And like we just mentioned, the channel flipping. I used to do that same thing. I'd watch USA's Up All Night or see the infomercials, and it just had that crazy energetic feel of all that, which you guys nailed.
But no, yeah, it's very fast paced. It's like on cocaine at times, and for me, it's a part of like theater too, because I have a theater background. So it's like you got to keep the scene moving, keeping it going. But also, we recognize that we also have short attention spans and need to keep things moving along.
Yeah, we wanted to make a film for people like us who had a hard time paying attention.
This, like you said, small crew. You guys pretty much did. I mean, I was just looking through watching the credits, and your guys' names are listed like a million times, and you're like, yes, we did that much
20, 30 times.
Yeah, you guys, I mean, your hands were in everything. You were the effects, the writing, acting, multiple parts, and how is just having your hands and having to manage so much during this? I know we couldn't do a whole lot in those early days of 2020. So it's like, hey, I got time.
Yeah, I mean, Jake has a lot of experience in theater, and Eric and I have a lot of experience playing in rock and roll bands and touring. So that kind of forces you to wear 1,000 different hats and be comfortable doing 1,000 different roles. And if you're not uncomfortable, if you're uncomfortable, it's time to, get out of that zone and just make it happen. So I think it was just kind of the DIY ethic of how we all grew up.
Okay.
Again, it's like coming off the necessity of it, like we didn't have money, and we couldn't obviously like hang out with people to like get all this stuff done. And I don't know. I think me and Adam kind of have the problem of starting a lot of things and learning a lot of skills, but then like not following through on them. We have a lot of half-started projects. Jake definitely sees his projects through a little bit more. But I think just like the way we work, it's like, I don't know. I'm kind of speaking for you a little bit, but it's just like kind of that drive to learn new things, getting, fascinated by something like, oh, this is a thing that exists and that's really cool. I want to learn how to do that. So I think like throughout the years, we have all just kind of like accumulated this like, toolbox of skill sets that maybe the knives aren't the sharpest, but they're there, So yeah, I think, and it was just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I've always wanted to make movies and I never knew like what part of it I wanted to do. So this was like this was kind of like a playground, just like try, visual effects, the practical effects, prop making, the writing, like just kind of crash coursing ourselves into the art of filmmaking and seeing like what we're good at, what we like doing. And this is the result of that. So I think that's, you can kind of see the cracks a little bit in the movie, but it's all because, it was a fun learning experience throughout the whole thing.
A whole lot of creative problem solving.
Now, are there a lot of things that you learned, like, visual effects or the puppeteering? There's a lot of puppeteering in the film. Are these things that you kind of learned along the way, or you kind of knew some of it going in?
Absolutely. I think all of us sharpened our skills along the way. I did the practical special effects, the puppets, and the puppeteering. So I was just kind of making it up as I went along and winging it. I was watching instructional YouTube videos on how to do it. I had a subscription to the Stan Winston School online, which taught me a little bit about puppetry and stop motion maquettes.
Yeah, definitely a lot of learning and just challenging yourself too. Like, for example, like I've never brought character work into like a fully digital space. So, I was working with Eric and we were writing like, how does the purple guy explode and, fly up into the air and explode like, one of the witches in Hocus Pocus, like how do we get that effect? And, coming up with those ideas and, like how do you marry like a live living character and enhance it with digital effects, which Eric really killed, just helping like the marriage of them all really helped push ourselves too.
I will tell you, the candy corn tet was one of my favorite little like snippets in there, because it made me feel like the old like Sesame Street little, like the worm. You can kind of see the wire up and the puppets talking.
Those were built on top of shark grabbers, like the types you would get from the boardwalk at the shore.
Okay.
Yeah, Eric grabbed like a 20-pack on Alibaba, and I was able to make furniture foam on top of them using the shark mechanisms. And then Eric was able to green screen out the handles in post. So not bad for a cheap toy.
No, I think for something that you guys, especially just doing at home and learning along the way, I mean, you have theater background and you can see a lot of that in like, especially your makeup and stuff like that. I think you guys did a fantastic job with the journey of this. I mean, you started it, 2020 when we're all kind of stuck at home trying to figure life out. How has the journey of this movie gone? Like, getting it done and then here it comes like, oh, now we got to release it out to the world.
It's been a roller coaster. It's been crazy. Like, wow. I mean, when we were working on it in 2020, like Jake said, it was more of just like a thing to kind of keep our minds not from going insane and, just kind of keep us occupied, give us something to do. And then like, I think it was October of 2020, we were still in the pandemic. Things were starting to loosen up a little bit more. And we got a local venue allowed us to have an outdoor screening of what we had so far. And we were like, it was the kind of thing where like we were working on it and we were super proud of what we had and like proud of the work that we had put in. But I didn't expect anybody to be like, oh, this is really, really good. Like this is cool. I enjoyed watching this. So we screened it for like a small group of people and people were like, this is incredible. So I think that like, the reaction that we got from just that one screening of our quarantine cut really motivated us to like, oh, we have something here. If we put the time and the work in to like polish it to a point that we can call this a real movie, then, a job well done pretty much. But I mean, it was really from there, it was like festivals and we got hooked up with Outfest for, what would become our world premiere in Los Angeles. And it was like, we go from being in lockdown in Adam's basement, just like crammed with props and green screens and lights to like being on a plane to go to Los Angeles for our premiere. It was just like, and it was just so crazy how fast everything happened. And then, we got hooked up with our distributor and now we're on Screenbox. So it's like, something that I had hoped would come from it, but like honestly didn't imagine that it would happen so fluidly. It just kind of started snowballing. I don't know, it was weird.
And going from the festival circuit, because like we said, I saw it at Horror Hound here in Cincinnati at the festival, and then going Scream Team releasing, putting it out on Blu-ray, DVD, and now at the time of this recording, last week it dropped on Screambox. I mean, how was it the first step going from festivals to, oh my gosh, now it's Scream Team's got discs. We have actual physical copies of this that we can see, like, here's our movie. I mean, how did that first step go for you?
Yeah, I would say this was probably for me the biggest learning curve.
Okay.
Like the performance end of it, and like getting a really awesome, fun party of a product, like that felt, I don't know, easy. There was stressful at times, but I was really ignorant to the festival world and like the process of getting it to the finish line, from making it to getting it to the most amount of people who will enjoy it. It really was just putting it out there. It just started with Outfest, and then through that, we really kind of played both the horror end of film festivals and also the queer end of festivals, and maybe the marriage of them both at times too. But really, it just came from putting it out there through Joe Bob's Jamboree, getting the hubby, through Outfest, doing a live performance there. Playing, a lot of these also, shout out to a lot of these smaller independent film festivals. I want to shout out Anomaly in Rochester, but festivals like that just really kind of put us not in like the up ground, but really put us in the underground too, of cool genre festivals as well. So really just getting it through film festivals. So a big shout out to everyone who kind of amplified us through our festival circuit.
And I've talked to quite a few indie horror filmmakers, and that's usually what you said there is the learning curve, learning the film festival circuit, learning distribution, because like we just wanted to make a movie and we didn't know anything about that. With that, what is the future for you guys? I mean, is there a HeBGB 2 in mind? Do you have something else in the works? What's the future look like for you guys?
Nothing that I think we can go into too much detail right now, but
that's fair.
We've been talking about it quite a bit in the last few months, and I think we've got big dreams, big schemes. So don't touch that dial. Stay tuned.
And the next round, I mean, you're like, we've gone through this circuit before. We kind of know a few tricks for the next time.
Yeah, I think we're all excited to do everything we possibly can.
Okay.
Like more live shows, more movies, more whatever we can just make. I think that, like, I'm just thinking of, what other things can I do? What can I improve on? But yeah, like working with the relationships we built through the festivals and just like meeting people through convention spaces too. Like we're excited to like work with a lot of the people that we've been like hanging out with this past 2-year process.
I also think, for me, before we started getting into the world of independent cinema, I was kind of like a stranger to it. Like I didn't interact with a lot of underground film or independent, filmmakers unless they were somewhere that I could watch. So I think being in this world and seeing the work that other people are doing, and kind of being in touch with like that side of the industry and just filmmaking in general has been like super inspiring, and just kind of like reigniting that drive to want to do cool stuff, seeing what everybody else is doing. And I think that's something I didn't expect coming out of this, for sure.
I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to chat with me. And where can we follow along to not only the journey of HeBGB TV, but just like follow you guys to see what the future holds for you?
You can follow us on socials at HeBGB TV, and then we're pretty good about posting up our all individual projects, things that we're working on individually and also as a group. Anywhere you'd like them to check up on you at?
Yeah, at Birthday Jake from me. But also really to go back to your point of like what's next.
Yeah.
Support us now. So if anyone's listening right now, buy the movie, go get the DVD. That's a big way you can keep up with us is the physical media for sure. But yeah, all socials, HeBGB TV on our website, everything like that.
Yeah, go get the physical from Scream Team releasing. Go watch it on Screambox.
And we've also got candy corn scented VHS tapes available through Lunch Meat VHS. Yeah, there's 2 different variants. One through Lunch Meat, which is a green tape with a purple flap,
Okay.
And the Scream Team variant is a purple tape with a green flap. Very schlocky.
Go support this movie. I enjoyed it. It's just a riot. It's so much fun. And I can't thank you guys enough for, again, chatting with me and taking time out of your day to do so.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to make it, and we're happy to have eyes on it, and thanks for getting some ears on it for us, Brad.
Again, I want to thank all three of them for taking the time out of their day to chat with me. I always love talking to indie filmmakers, indie creators, just hearing what goes into this process and what they've learned along the way and how they kind of had to pick up and do a little bit of everything. I truly do love hearing these behind the scenes stories of how these films, especially these lower budget, smaller films, get created and their journey to get out into the world. I really wish them all the best of luck with this movie and hope that everybody gets a chance to watch it, because honestly, it's a good late night movie to put on. Let's go have some fun. Get some friends and have some fun, like for real. Just like last week, before I head out, I'm going to give you a couple things that I've been watching recently. Last week, I gave you one not to watch, one to watch. But this week, I'm just going to give you 2 watches that I recently watched at home that I think that you should check out. The first one is called The Puppet Man. This is on Shudder. So if you have a subscription to Shudder, it just came out last week. And this was a pretty good movie about this entity that takes control of people's bodies. They can kind of react, but they have no control over their body. Their body is like a puppet being moved for them, but they cannot stop it. They cannot stop what is happening and is what is about to happen. There are moments in this movie. It is a fairly slow burn. Overall, I really did enjoy it. There are a couple kills in this movie that are just absolutely brutal that shocked me. One in particular that I'm not going to say what it is, but it was pretty intense. I was shocked that they went as far as they did with it. And I think probably that's what really set me up to really love it even more. And this is directed by Brandon Christensen, who also did Superhost, which is an actual pretty fun movie that you should go watch over on Shudder. But yeah, The Puppet Man, go watch that on Shudder. The other one is a Tubi original, and this is called Sorry Charlie. And this is a film that is basically set in a single setting. The killer that uses cries of a baby to get a woman to come out to try to see what's going on so that they can attack her. It's set in one house, and it's a home invasion film that definitely it has some very tense moments. It has some great get under your skin, almost like, you know, you think of like Scream. You have the caller calling because she is a call center, almost like a counselor. It's someone that will talk to people to try to help them out. It has, you know, this caller calls in multiple times, and it's very creepy. It's tense. The ending actually surprised me. Obviously, no spoilers, but I was pretty impressed and enjoyed Sorry Charlie, the Tubi original over on Tubi. Go check it out. All right, before I go, I have a promo to tell you about. Get Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 on digital today. Tom Cruise stars in the film critics are calling the biggest and best action movie of the year. Buy Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 on digital today and get behind the scenes with incredible bonus content. It is available at participating retailers from Paramount Pictures. I will soon have some digital codes to give away for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Just keep it right here on Old Man Brad, or watch the social media for the Cinema Guys and see how you can possibly win yourself a copy of the film. Well, there you go. That will do it for another chapter of Old Man Brad. I'll be back this Friday with a brand new Tales from Tubi. So make sure you subscribe to the show so you don't miss it. This week, my friend Drew from The Real Feels and I will talk the film The Demon's Rook. You won't want to miss that. And next week, I will have another interview for you. So stay tuned for that one. if you love Old Man Brad, drop me a review over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, whatever you listen to podcasts on. I would absolutely love it. I always love hearing what people think. Follow me online. I'll have all my links below in the description. But I will be back very soon with a brand new chapter. Remember, Tuesdays aren't just for tacos. We'll talk to you later, everybody.